Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. All right, cool. Alrighty. Hello, gentlemen. How are you doing today, by the way?
Good. Good. Better
Good.
than before.
Cool. Cool. I lost the link for the Google Doc.
It's pinned.
I did not know that. Pinned. Perfect. All right. Hello,
Yeah.
everybody. Hello. Welcome. Welcome to the first official episode of the Nerd Dads podcast. It's called the Nerd Dad podcast because that's what we are. I will be, but yeah. We're all nerds. And what we did last week was kind of like a dry run, and it went pretty well. So we're doing it again this week, and it'll be an every Monday thing around 9-ish. It was supposed to be at 9 o'clock, but we kind of ran late, so and I'll take full blame for that, and that is okay. So, and yes, we will also have guests on. Yes, because I do want to get Steve on here for various reasons. Damien also. There's other people I want to get on here. So you don't need to be a dad to actually be on the show. It's just that us three we are, and that's what we named it. We do have a Twitter, which is at the Nerd Dads, one word. And there is a Twitch channel, and once we get some artwork set up and all that stuff, and like eventually we'll transition over to there. So for right now, we're gonna be on here. But yeah, so I'm UnexceptionalGamer, aka Peter, and then you gentlemen introduce yourself.
I am Bernie8001 on Twitch and Bernie8000 on Twitter.
And I am Easy Dozer, and I'm the best. Yeah, no, Easy Dozer everywhere.
I had a feeling that you would do something like that. Anyways, so basically what we talk about on this show is anything nerd related. So it's tech, entertainment. Yes, all the commands are muted. Yes, you can still use the commands, but there are no sound effects to go along with it. So, so basically what we talk about on this show is technology, entertainment, anything that we deem will fit in the realm of nerddom will basically fit in there. We had a pretty big show last week. We ran like 2 hours, so that was pretty fun. Today, not as much news as it was last week, even though I think that we're going to spend a good chunk of time on one certain topic, but I guess you guys will figure that out. So let's start it off with the big news that happened this week, and that is the Ryzen 3000 series benchmarks. And oh man, it looks like a rough time at AMD at Intel. I'm sorry, I'm so used to saying a rough time at AMD, but no, it looks like a rough time at Intel with the benchmarks that have just been released earlier this week. And honestly, for the first time, I can honestly say it's kind of hard to recommend an Intel CPU, even at the higher, end of the spectrum. At least that's what I think. Like, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how you look at it. I think the argument still stands that if you're just gaming, Intel is still ahead, and I
But
don't think that that's going
not
to
by
go
much
anywhere.
though. It used to be that Intel was ahead by a lot. Now the gap is closing really quickly, and even in some games that were, strictly like favoring Intel, it's not like it's not like that anymore.
No, it's a lot better, and Ryzen, of course, especially the new ones, give amazing value per dollar.
Oh yeah, oh my god, Bernie.
So that's one thing that I love about what's currently going on is how much they have closed that gap to make it less appealing to go or more competitive, I in the market. The
Hmm.
one thing that sort of gets me a little bit though is how they worded some of their information with the clock speeds and everything. Like they listed basically the base clock and then a gaming clock and a boost clock. And the boost clock, from my understanding, you're not typically going to hit and it will be just seldomly hit, which makes me a little bit sad in that fact because I was really looking forward to seeing Ryzen hitting that numbers. And I think if they could, the gap would be even smaller between Intel and Ryzen, AMD.
What do you mean exactly?
So their max speeds, you are not going to be able to hit consistently. Like it's going to be much tougher to hit consistently. Where supposedly their gaming like boost speed is the one that you're going to be able to, hit consistently and reach.
I think
You,
yeah,
you're
like
you're
yeah, you're confusing it. You're confusing the Ryzen with the GPUs because what you're talking about with Ryzen is their TDP. The TDP is based on the base clock. What you're
Yeah,
talking about is the GPUs. Yeah.
I thought there was something along that lines with the CPU too.
No, the
Or was that
CPU.
just
What
the
you're talking about is the CPU. How they measure their TDP. It's based on. I think it's a base clock, not the boost clock, and Intel does the inverse of that. I think that's what
okay?
it is. Yeah.
Was that maybe
Hmm.
that's what it is?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
it's based on the boost clock. Yeah, see, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, you were getting it confused.
but
Hmm.
with that, okay, so that was my bad. I messed that one up. But the one thing that they aren't able to do, from what I've read, is the overclocking is sort of limited.
Well, yeah, I mean, I heard that too, but it's also apparently it's way better than what it was on first gen. And
Um,
they said that also that the amount of RAM that you can use now is far greater than what
oh
you could
yeah,
use previously. Bernie
yeah.
is
The
still
RAM
thinking GPU.
capacity. No, the GPU. Yeah, those you could barely overclock at all.
Hmm.
But it was the Easy and I were actually just talking about it earlier. That what was it? The 3700X
Hmm.
actually was performing at a higher clock speed, or
yeah. Some of the Ryzen's are performing better at stock than overclocked to their limits,
Hmm.
and I would imagine that has to do with boost clocks being what they are in PBO, and just I really don't think Ryzen is overclockable, and I don't think it ever will be.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's not going to be overclockable. I just don't think it's going to be as overclockable as Intel's been proven to be. But I still think you'd be able to get a decent overclock out of most of them. And a lot of
Y-
that's dependent on the motherboards too, though.
I mean, when you're starting to hit thermal limit and you're not getting close to boost clocks, then I think for an all core overclock, it's just better off to stick with the boost.
Mm.
That was kind of the thing on the 2700X, but people were able to push a little bit more, and now with the newer ones, it's really similar. There's just not a lot of overhead there. AMD has done a lot of work, I think, to bin these chips out to be close to their limits, and that's where we're getting the overhead from. I mean, that's where we're getting the performance from, being so close to Intel.
Mm-hmm.
and one thing that I did link earlier is it was interesting that the 3000 series Ryzen's actually use less wattage at this current time on X470 mobile than the 570 mobiles.
Really?
Yes, by like 37 watts on
Hmm.
the one test that they did,
Didn't know
which
that.
neither did I. I found this earlier today. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, wow, that is very interesting how the MSI Godlike and the Asus Crosshair 7, both the X570s, use more wattage than an X470 Mobo.
I wonder why though.
Yeah,
Probably the
that's
chipset.
what.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because now the X570s have like little motherboard fans on them to prevent from overheating. Didn't we get away from that like a long time ago?
I mean, I just hope that they're replaceable because
Mm.
those old style, fans on chipsets. Once the fan goes, bye bye.
I'm gonna put money out right now and say that you will have this on the back front RMA. Guarantee it.
Yeah.
I guarantee it. No way. So let me ask you guys: if you were gonna build a mid-tier gaming rig, what CPU would you use?
I think that depends on your goals, how much you want to spend total, and
All right, we'll say this.
what platform you're coming from.
So let's
it's
say
yeah.
so let's say this, right? Let's say no platform loyalty, right? Let's say it's a brand new computer. And let's say I think 1500 is a good mid tier. With the way things are now, I think
That'd be closer
1,000.
to high tier.
We'll say 1,000. We'll say $1,000. Let's say that. We'll say $1,000. Let's say you have no brand loyalty or whatever. You just want, the best CPU, and you play games, and you're going to stream eventually. Which specifically Ryzen CPU would you pick?
Well, you just said no brand loyalty, and then you said which Ryzen CPU.
Well, we'll do for each, right? What Ryzen CPU would you pick, and what Intel CPU would you pick?
I mean, if I am planning on really streaming, I'm picking a Ryzen 9. There's no reason not to. The amount of money that you're gonna spend
Yeah, but the Ryzen
long
9
term to
is
either upgrade.
700 something.
Well, no, the Ryzen 9 3900 is 500. So you're getting 12 cores,
the
24
3950
threads.
is 750. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
For streaming, honestly, if you're just getting into it and you're not totally sure if it's something that you're going to love and or stick with, I'm not sure I would even go with the 3900. I think I would probably end up recommending the 3800. And I know that you're losing a little bit of that clock speed, but I feel like you will be happier using that extra $100 to go towards either maybe a little bit better RAM and a little bit better of a GPU than what you were initially thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might be a better route for a mid tier or even an extra SSD, because SSDs have come down so much in price that you could get a terabyte for under $100.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, any three of those options that's going to, I think, give you more value out of your money when you're doing a budget build would be a little bit better, especially when you're new to that. And then you still have upgrade option, down the road.
Yeah.
Once the 3950 comes out, if you're really liking streaming and that, wait for those to be out for a while to go down in price and be like, all right, we can upgrade later on.
So, here's the question. Let's say you're a higher end executive at Intel. You've known that Ryzen 2 is coming, and everything that you've done has just not been doing it for you. For the consumers, I would say. What would be your next step? What would you do?
I mean, they're still working on 10 nanometer, and those numbers are looking good. They're obviously having trouble. I'd be looking at a new process node
Mm-hmm.
and just attempting to give more value.
What do you do in the
dollar, 'cause,
immediate future then to counteract what's been happening with Ryzen?
Well, what they were kind of planning on, and that is price cuts.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, price cuts I think are where it's going to really help Intel, I mean, depending on how much they end up cutting them, which what we were hearing up to $75 off the higher end CPUs, that's quite a bit off the
Mhm.
higher end, which makes it a little more compelling, especially if you're doing, even with content creation, you can get an i7 or i9 uh, and get a pretty solid quality stream out of it.
Mhm.
But yes, it's not going to be quite at the same spot as a Ryzen.
Yeah. So I think we can safely say that with the release of the 3000 series CPUs, that AMD is pretty much has Intel back on their heels. And the only thing that Intel can do to come back will be a price cut, because it's not like they're going to be releasing any new CPUs out of the blue, out of nowhere, you know. So they have the CPU market going pretty well for them now. I think it's probably the best that it's ever been since as long as I can remember, honestly, since like their Athlon days. Now, we also, along with the Ryzen benchmarks, we also got Navi benchmarks this week. So pretty good week for AMD, I would say. And I gotta say, the Navi benchmarks kind of surprised me. I'm not gonna lie. It definitely surprised me. I thought it was gonna be a huge dumpster fire, but it turned out to not really be a huge dumpster fire. More like, I don't know, like a little smoldering coal inside of a dumpster, I guess you could say. So
No, I'm not sure I would even go that far though, because what it brought is pretty impressive considering, like, I'm working on, trying to get the 5700 XT. That is where I am going to try and upgrade to, because even though they do not have the overclocking, who knows, that might get unlocked later on.
mm-hmm.
And even without that though, it's still performing at a really good spot, I feel. Like, it's doing really solid.
Yeah, from the benchmarks that I've seen, it's actually in certain games trading back and forth with the new super cards that they just released. Which is, I listen, I don't know who thought about that branding, but oof, man, that is some rough branding right there. I'm sorry. Like, it sounds great, but it looks like crap. I'm sorry. Such bad branding. I hate it. I think they should just stuck with it, like, with a Ti SKU. That's it. But they still have 2080 Ti. So are they going to come out with like a 2060 Ti? Like, and they have a 1660 Ti. Like, I don't know what
I don't
Nvidia's
think
doing.
they will.
Like, are they going to get rid of the Ti SKU completely?
I don't think so. I think they didn't go with Ti because the supers performed so much like, the tier cards that they are replacing. The 2070 Super is essentially a knockdown 2080, and it's performing close to a 2080. So you wouldn't call it a 2070 Ti. It's too close to a 2080.
Mm-hmm.
So just call this Super, eliminate the product, and shift your tier.
True. What does TI stand for, anyways? I don't even know.
No idea. I've never looked that up.
Technically inaccurate? I don't know. I don't know either. But yeah. What do you think about Navi, Dozer? I know that you're very opinionated on it.
I mean, I think looking at a 2060 Super versus Navi 5700, you should go with the 5700. It's better bang for buck. I think for those that are upgrading, it really depends on what you're upgrading from and where you're going to spend it. For me, coming from a Vega 64, $400 for 5700 XT versus a 2070 Super for $500, I'm probably going to spend the extra $100 because I'm upgrading. I don't want to spend $400 for a moderate, 15, 20% maybe, but I can get an additional 10% for another $100. It would be crazy not to.
Yeah. And that's one thing that AMD's always been good at. Always been good at finding where they need to fill the market and just filling it. And like I said, yeah, I was really surprised with the Navi benchmarks. Honestly, I was very, very surprised. I was, and honestly, I think that's where AMD is best at. They're best mid tier. Like, we've seen that they don't really do high end cards that well. They just don't. There's no way of, there's no nice way of putting it. They don't do high end cards well. They do low end and medium tier graphics cards really, really well. But when it comes to high end graphics cards, Fiji was a disaster. It was too expensive to make, and they couldn't keep up with the demand. Like, that's the thing. That's why Fiji didn't do that great. I wouldn't say it failed, but just didn't do that great. In my opinion, that's where AMD needs to focus on, the mid tier, because for every one person that goes out and buys a 2080 Ti, like 3 people go out and buy a 2060. The mid tier is where they want to be, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know if they're really mid tier though. People are throwing around mid tier,
Yeah,
but mid tier to me is like a 580, or like I think Nvidia is offering newer mid tier cards, and I think we're at the lower end of the upper cards with anything that's Turing or competitive to it. I mean, saying that a $400 card is mid tier is obnoxious. When it took a process node shrink and 2 or 3 years later for them to match their competition. That's not really mid tier. That's their top end.
True. Yeah, but does it feel like a top end card though? Does it look like a top end card though?
I mean, no, it doesn't. and I think like the 5700 not having a backplate is crazy for a $330 card. I think
yeah, because all the supers come with a black backplate, right?
I mean I mean
do.
budget cards don't come with them, and to call a $330 card a budget card is obnoxious.
That's not budget, in my opinion, at all.
Yeah, definitely not budget. Not even close.
If a $130, RX 570 comes with a backplate, it's minor. It doesn't add to performance. It's purely aesthetic, but it doesn't cost them a lot of money to put it on the card.
Mm-hmm.
They did it to separate out the 5700 and the 5700 XT, just like they are purposely limiting overclocking on the cards.
TS stood for titanium. Oh, okay. Did not know that. Random.
Okay.
But yeah, so the GPU fight for me is way more interesting because I will eventually need a new GPU. Like CPU, I'm okay with, whatever.
Yeah.
I will eventually need a new GPU, so I'm really interested to see what's gonna happen in the future. On both sides, because when it comes to GPUs, like I have no loyalty when it comes to GPUs. I don't have any, dog in this fight. Like, it doesn't matter to me who does better or whatever. I just want the best card for, whatever money I can spend at that point in time. So I'm very curious to see if, I want these cards to do well. By the way, let me just put this out there. I think we all do. We all want the new Navi cards to do well, because when they do well, then it's better for consumers in general. So I hope that they do well, and I hope that we see some really nice third-party cards too.
See, the biggest issue is that when you start heading into third-party cards, aftermarket coolers, having to buy your backplate, there's really no point in buying those cards, because if you're going to spend $50 to $80 more for a partner card, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're now $50 to $20 away from a 2070 Super. If
Yeah, you can say the same thing
you're
with Nvidia though. They do the same thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I agree. But a Founders Edition 2070 Super is going to outperform a partner card 5700 XT more than likely. So unless they unlock overclocking.
Who are these cards made for then?
People coming from AMD's previous mid tier, which was the 580s, 590s. People using, I mean, the same people that AMD always targets, which is people who made the mistake of buying a GT 1030 in a gaming machine, from Walmart.
GT 1030. Oh man, that hurts. Yikes.
Well, no, I mean,
Um,
again, I'll use myself as an example, right? I'm coming from a Vega 64. You know, it overclocks. I'm at a certain performance level where I'm at right now.
mhm.
Now, you and Bernie are at a different tier, so
Oh yeah.
$400 to you to get that much more gain, totally worth it. But if I'm already at AMD's previous top end, it's really not that worth it unless, like I said, they unlock overclocking.
Mhm. True. Very, very true. So if you were AMD, what would your next step be? What would you do?
Um,
Because the bottom line is that
man,
they have never ever been, I wouldn't say, okay, not never, but they haven't been competitive in the GPU market for a long time. Even with Fiji. Fiji was promising, but it was not as good even still. So what would you do if you were ahead of AMD's like Radeon division? What would your
like if
plan be?
like if I reported directly to Lisa Su,
Yes.
I would fix the drivers that launched with the 5700 and the 5700 XT. They're
Okay.
they're, they're crazy. They don't work. Everybody's complaining about them, save one person I know.
Oh
You
wow.
know, they run hot. They don't work. They you can't overclock. They report incorrectly. And here's again, of course, Nvidia had them since May, supposedly with the supercards. But
Mm-hmm.
when they soft launched on the second, the drivers worked. Everything worked. Everything performed as it should have for press. They released that shit early.
Mm-hmm.
With AMD, they lifted embargo the day of,
Yeah, I
and
saw
it's
that.
like, okay, great. Your drivers don't work the day they come out. You look at
Mm-hmm.
the Radeon 7, they still don't work right. Hell,
Jeez.
still issues on my Vega 64 drivers. I have to pick and choose which ones I want.
Jesus. Yikes. Bernie, what would you do?
Honestly, pretty much the exact same thing. Because even looking at the GPU that I have, the Asus RX 580, for the longest time, I actually did not upgrade my drivers for God. I was still running for the longest time 18.12 uh because I was having so many issues with their drivers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a known thing, it feels like, when they launch new GPUs, they tend to have issues and they need to work them out. And it takes some time. And I think once, or hopefully, if they get their act together and can get their drivers situated, because going off of Radeon 7, they don't seem to show much care and try and fix that issue.
Mm-hmm.
But if they can get that fixed, I think we could see a lot more performance from the 5700s than we are currently seeing. I feel like there's a lot there that could change.
Mm-hmm.
So NZXT has not gotten back to me, and other people have not been willing to take apart their new Navi cards to test for me. Those that I did throw it out to, but I want to say it was Hardware Unboxed. Took apart a 290 or a 390, and they were able to slap the 290 cooler on Navi. And Timmy Joe is doing the same thing, and I think he has a video coming out in a couple days where you slap on a cooler from an old dead card, it lines up, holes fit, you put it on, and it's performing at 65 degrees max instead of 95.
Wow.
And that's very telling. They got a little bit better frames performance, but the card still can't overclock. So if if I can stick the Kraken G12 that I've had in my storage for 2 years
Oh
now.
my God, I remember that.
Yeah, it's been sitting there, brand new in box, and a water cooler, brand new in box, just waiting for a card that it's worth putting on. So if it fits, awesome. But if I can't overclock it, there's no point.
That's true. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. So, I mean, honestly, if I don't know, I've had AMD cards for forever. I would like to see how the other side lives and go with an Nvidia card, honestly. Um, like the supers are pretty good cards, I gotta say. from what I've seen, the benchmarks and all that stuff, yeah, like the regular 2060 and regular 2070 do get beat out by the 5700s and all that stuff, but the supers are nice. Like, sans the shitty branding, I think they look pretty good, honestly, and I think that's if I had to put money on it between the supers and the 5700s, I would definitely put my money on the supers, honestly.
No, and I agree. And at one point, I was running SLI 660 Ti's before I got my 580. That's what I had. And I'm not gonna lie, the drivers, yes, they still had their issues too on NVIDIA's side. They felt like they were a lot less frequent. That it was typically a better experience overall. Because before I had the 660s, I had the 560 Ti, and then I forget, and then I had like the 1600 X or whatever XT of ATIs, and I went from that to Nvidia because the drivers were just god awful. And AMD has gotten the drivers a lot better, but I still feel like I experienced more issues with the AMD drivers than I did in the past with Nvidia.
Mm-hmm.
But they have gotten better over time. I will state that.
Okay.
I mean, I have a Vega 64 Fury. I have, the 1070 over there. I'd say they're about equal in terms of having issues. NVIDIA has issues. AMD has issues. The one thing that I really, really loved about NVIDIA was their auto overclocking feature that they've, worked on putting into their cards and aftermarket tuners and stuff, and it works so well.
Mm-hmm.
And AMD's very much does not.
Yeah, I've never had an issue with AMD drivers, but that's just me. I can't speak for everybody else, so
No, I'm not saying everybody's gonna have the bad experience like I did. It could have just been, sort of a one-off thing,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I put off upgrading my drivers, because I tried 3 different sets of drivers, and every single one was causing me issues.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, you're
So,
still having issues with FreeSync and
yeah,
drivers. So
I can't get my FreeSync to work
Yikes.
still, and it's an issue for quite some time with FreeSync for certain monitors where it doesn't always work. You'll get the backlight flickering like what I'm experiencing, or
That sounds
I
terrible.
forget the previous monitor that I bought before I swapped it out. Using DisplayPort, I was getting basically tons of micro stuttering. Like, it was constantly just stuttering, where it was almost like a slideshow.
Oh, wow.
And it was a known issue that never got resolved. When I looked it up, it had been going on for like 4 or 5 months.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yikes.
But you could use it using HDMI. But the problem with that is I was being limited to 120 hertz no matter what. I couldn't use the full 144 hertz, which is what bugged me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, no, I'm going to get a different one, but now I've lost my FreeSync usage. So I can't win for losing.
Okay. So, was it you, Dozer, that put this in here?
which
The
one?
Intel internal memo?
Yeah, the Intel internal memo.
I haven't heard anything about that, so I'm going to let you talk about this.
So this was reported from Gamers Nexus, and I think it was on Reddit. And essentially, Intel had a memo that said, is Intel screwed with the release of Ryzen and where we're at? And a lot of it was kind of negative from, responses and including from employees. That I mean, to sum it up, Intel needs to fix itself, and even the employees know that. So
Really? Yikes. Well, I mean, when your whole community is telling you something, like, you have to literally when the whole community is telling you that what you've been doing for the past 10 years is not beneficial to yourself and to the company and to the consumer, like, you know, you really shouldn't have to ask, oh, are we screwed? You could tell, like, wasn't it before Ryzen came out? Wasn't Intel, like, AMD's market share was like, what, 12%? And then after the release of Ryzen, it went from 12% to like over 20 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean AMD is gaining ground, both professionally and in your average desktop user. They're really doing a good job, and Intel knows that. I think that's why they're getting into graphics, and I think that's I think they're stepping away from the CPU production,
Mm-hmm.
because not only are they fighting AMD, but they're also fighting ARM
Yep.
for servers, and they have to do something. And what they've been doing for the last since 2002 is not going to work.
Mm-hmm. I think, what was it? I forgot where I saw it, but like AMD CPUs outsell Intel CPUs in a market. I think it was I want to say like Japan. I think Japan, for the first time in years, AMD CPUs have outsold Intel CPUs, which is, it's pretty crazy. I'm trying to look for the actual numbers for AMD's market share.
Yeah,
But
I mean, here's one from April that said AMD Ryzen CPUs outsold Intel Core CPUs for 3 straight quarters at major German retailer. So I mean, that's a big deal. It is a big deal because the value's there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's a huge win for AMD, no matter how you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's 2 quarters, 1 quarter, or 6. The fact that it's being purchased more over the competition is
Yeah.
great.
And I think, honestly, I think their market share now is like at least 20%. I want to say it's at least 20% because I remember last year was over 20%, which is insane because it used to be under 10 or something like that. When the FX series was out, it was like maybe 10, if that.
It was non-existent.
It was it might have well just been non-existent, honestly.
Yeah.
So
One thing that I think is going to be a little bit interesting, and this is just me being more curious, is I do wonder what AMD will have and what Intel will have when Intel brings out the 10 nanometer. Because right now, we can't deny that no matter how you look at it, Intel is top dog for gaming.
yeah, but even
they
like we said it before, they are in some use cases, not even all use cases. That's the
But
thing.
I'm just stating in gaming specifically. That's it. They are currently, ahead. So it makes me curious what Intel will bring when it hits 10 nanometer. Because looking at AMD right now, they're at 7 nanometer.
Yeah.
And Intel technically is still ahead for gaming. So I'm really curious what they will bring when they get to 10 nanometer and what AMD will have
What's
to
after
respond.
7 nanometer? What, 5?
7 nanometer plus, I think, is what
I
AMD
mean,
has.
it's not so those numbers do not really apply to actual sizes so much anymore
Mm-hmm.
as they are just the process node. So I mean, we're going to get 7 nanometer plus, just like Intel's done with
Yeah,
14 nanometer.
You're like, we have more chiplets. Here you go.
exactly.
Here's one CPU with 4 chiplets on it.
But I'm still
Yeah.
curious, what will
Yeah.
happen though, and what things will turn out to be. 'Cause
I
that
have a
interests me
feeling
whole
that
lot.
with the way that AMD is going, I feel like they're not really in the mood to lose all the momentum that they have at this time, because unless Intel comes out with 7 nanometer and it just completely shits all over Ryzen, it's gonna be a rough time at Intel. Honestly, it's gonna be a rough time at Intel because even they're getting beat on the performance, they're getting beat on the price too. That's the other thing. They're getting beat on the price. you know, the amount of money that you get, that you pay for the 3950X, and it's a 12 core, right? 12 core?
No, 3950 is a 16 core, 32 thread chip. It's pretty beast.
Yeah, and it's how much again? $750?
750.
Yeah, to get that on the Intel side, you're paying way over a couple $1,000s.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, that's not gaming. First
Mhm.
off, that is content creators. That might be gaming and streaming or something along those lines. But when you're talking, okay, so here's the thing. You said you'd be interested in the 2070 Super, right, Peter?
Mhm.
Like you're versus the 5700 XT. It's $100 difference for, I mean, at most about 10% gains, right?
Yeah.
So the same argument could be made for Intel versus AMD. That if you're just gaming and you're going to spend about $100 more, you're spending about the same amount for even more than 10% gains. They're
True.
still outperforming AMD chips by that much. It's
Mhm.
just that the value is there. I mean,
Yeah. True. Very, very true. You can make an argument
because
for either one, honestly.
yeah, the biggest thing is I don't know anyone that only uses their computer for gaming.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
the
a lot of
thing.
people think that that's all they do,
Mhm.
but they really don't. They multitask. They game, watch shows, play. Have more than 2 Chrome tabs open. It all is going to use
Yeah.
those needed clock cycles.
Yeah. The 3900X, that's what I was thinking of, because that's the 12 core, 24 thread.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
$500.
yeah, for $500, and the 9900K is 8 cores, right? Yeah, it's in 8 core.
Yeah,
16
9900K
thread.
is 8 core, boosts up to 5 gigahertz.
Mhm.
Most overclocked to 4.9 or 5 gigahertz. The other big thing that people forget Intel side is QuickSync. QuickSync is really important. If you are a content creator, Adobe uses QuickSync. A lot of companies use QuickSync. So
Yeah. So do you think that we'll start seeing like a change in how companies, I don't want to say treat AMD, but work with AMD?
Yeah. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
For the fact that we can already see it with X570 or the X570 mobiles.
Mm-hmm.
They are now with the vendors. They have finally gotten higher end PCB boards that they haven't really had in the past. That's why we haven't really seen their mobile prices hitting, $4, $5, $6, $800, because they weren't being given those higher end options. Where now they are, and that is huge if you
Mm-hmm.
think about it.
Yeah.
That's the first step, or one of the steps to take.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that we're going to see companies treating AMD a little bit different for a single generation until their competitors respond at a similar process node, and then you're going to go back to. I mean, I hate to say it, you're going to go back to budget branding. So
Well, all right then. Who knows? Honestly, we don't know, because just think of how many things change in 5 years. Just think of how different things are in 5 years. So 5 years from now, who knows? For all we know, Intel could lose. The market share can go 50-50 in 5 years. I don't think it'll happen,
No,
but it could. The funny thing is that with the way things are going, and like AMD has made such really good moves when it comes to, the CPU side. If they can wise up and do the same thing on the GPU side, who knows? Honestly, who knows?
yeah, but they don't have chiplets to save them on the GPU side.
True, 100%. Yeah,
I just don't
100%.
see that happening. I mean, they could totally change the game and surprise me, and they did. The 5700 and the 5700 XT did surprise me. They did even better
Yeah,
than I thought
ditto.
they were going to.
Mm-hmm. Yep, true.
The biggest thing is that you're talking about an entire process node shrink to compete with 2016. It's not really that impressive.
Mm-hmm.
It's just nice to see some competition. And
Yes.
the moment they caught Intel with their pants down completely, and
Literally.
Nvidia, completely. And Nvidia, decided that on the Turing lineup, at least when it first came out, that they were not going to offer better performance for the dollar, because you're getting our, ray tracing that you didn't ask for.
That's true.
So now that Nvidia's decided to put more base performance per dollar, I mean, it really does take the sales out of them.
Hmm.
I don't think they're going to maintain the momentum.
Speaking of making good moves, I didn't know this until I saw it earlier today. Apparently, if you're using a Logitech wireless device, you can get hacked. Major hack source alert. Yeah, I don't know who put that in there. Whoever did, you could talk about it because I just saw it briefly.
Yeah, so did I. I saw it briefly on the one that put it in there, but essentially it's based around Logitech specifically and their technology when it comes to wireless.
Yikes.
So that affects their gaming series. Pretty much, if it's Logitech and it's wireless and it's not using Wi-Fi standards, it is susceptible to attack. So it doesn't mean that they're going to. It just means that it's a security flaw specifically around Logitech, and it's probably not going to get fixed.
Probably not, because I don't know. I mean, unless someone I don't know, does something incredibly terrible, I think they'll be just fine. They'll probably release an update soon or whatever. I think they'll fix it, honestly.
I don't think they will, because there's two things about this flaw. Is that, if you're talking about, Peter, your stream PC and someone trying to hack in, because there is a range limit to it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're talking about someone trying to steal your information, no one wants your information. They're not going to spend that much time hacking your Logitech devices and radios to make that work.
That is some effort right there.
But Susan, who uses a cheap little Logitech mouse working at a medical facility, yeah, that's a legitimate reason to go in and steal some customer data. Like,
True.
that's much easier to do.
Very, very true.
And you're going to get a lot more out of it, too.
Yeah. So I got a question for you guys. Have you bought anything from the Steam Summer Sale?
I did buy one game.
Really?
I bought Monster Hunter World.
Uh-huh.
And I installed it and haven't played it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't know if it's because I'm pickier with the games that I play, but I know we talked about this last week, but I was hoping that it would get somewhat better, but it really, I have yet to see anything on the Steam Summer Sale or any of the sale that I'm just like, yes, this is finally what I want.
Well, and you've only been playing that one game, right?
What game?
Your new game on Steam.
No, I have not. At all, actually. Just once, and that was enough for me.
What was the name of that game again?
Nah, I don't remember it, actually. I mean, you bought it for me, so you should remember.
Wasn't it like something in the universe, like out there?
I don't know, I couldn't tell you.
Pretty deep out there, too, I think.
I don't know. It's I honestly don't remember. It's weird. Anyways. You prick. But yeah, so it was anime porn. Oh my god, I can't. But yeah, so I don't know. Summer game, it's the one thing I hate about the summer is for the gaming drought. We all know about it. That once summer comes, it's just literally just fucking Sahara does it for video games. So whatever.
See,
what?
The one thing that gets me is, honestly, I don't feel like these summer sales off of Steam have been that great for several years, actually now, at least 3 years. I don't feel like they have been that spectacular because almost all the deals I have seen, you will find randomly throughout the year.
Yeah.
Multiple times. So it's not like it's anything special. It's just, it happens to be all of them almost combined into one time frame.
If what they did was, they have sales throughout the year, and then like the Steam Summer Sale, the Winter Summer Sale, they slash everything like 90%. That's a sale.
Yeah, But it's no sale that we can't find
Yeah,
randomly
there
throughout
are
the
times
year.
where you'll find a sale better in like a random week than you will at the summer sale sometimes.
Exactly.
So like, yeah, it's just meh.
The,
It's
the
just
one
meh
game
all
that
around.
looks the one game that looks really a really good price right now is Rust. That's the lowest I've ever seen it after release. So
Thanks though.
that's cool. But
I'm good.
I mean, hey, not everyone wants to play survival games. Some people like
True. No,
easier
I've
games.
played Rust before, just not my thing. But it's
Yeah.
not just Steam though. Like it's sales all over the place. They're all not that great.
Yeah,
From what
and
I've seen.
another one that we sort of touched up on a little bit last week too is honestly, I've been a little disappointed with Humble Bundle lately.
Hmm.
I'm not seeing like they've been putting out a lot of book bundles and not interesting ones at that either. Like
Yeah, I
they
could
have
literally care less about
one
book
good
bundles.
one, and then they put out a PlayStation Games bundle.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Okay, you're focusing or your main audience is PC gamers. So, okay, sure. And then their sale that they currently have going, it isn't terrible of a sale, but it's not great either. It's just sort of, all right, it's
Mhm.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
they've done a great job of being mediocre in 2019.
Mm,
yeah,
Humble
true
Bundle.
story.
100%.
So I'm afraid. So all right, let me preface this real quick. Let me preface this real quick. So, like I said, we talk about a lot of stuff on this podcast, so tech and other things,
Mhm.
and we have a category called other news. Now, I'm afraid to ask about this, but I'm gonna give you guys the title of what is in this document, and it says this: they caught the ice cream liquor, and I have
Yep.
no idea what this is about, and I
So
feel like you did that.
yeah,
Go, sir.
that's totally me. So a few days ago, well, I guess about a week ago, whatever, someone took a video of them taking out a thing of Bluebell ice cream, licking it, and then putting it back on the in the freezer of the store. Uh they got her. They got her. Finally. we are free to buy ice cream in peace.
That I just watched the Instagram video. And I just, oh my god, why? 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 Why would you do this? Is my question.
So she's a minor. They're not releasing her name, so
Yeah,
obviously
they
she's
can't.
young, stupid. Uh I mean, I understand. Like, there is a certain level of humor there of just taking an ice cream and licking it and then putting it back. Like, I do get that, but that is super disgusting. And then a follow up to that is like, apparently there's a 36-year-old man that decided to copycat the video and do the same thing, and
Oh, God.
they got him too. We got both ice cream lickers.
But here's my question. This is gonna sound weird, right? Why doesn't what kind of ice cream was it? Let me see. It's
Bluebell.
Bluebell. Okay. Why don't they have like the protective cover on top? Every
Yeah,
ice
I don't
cream that I
know.
ever get has that. For that reason alone. That shit is disgusting. Like, come on. I'm glad that they caught her, first off. I'm really glad they caught her. But, like, that is the real question. Like, why don't you have the protective cover on top? Like, this is what goes on in America. That's it. Needles in
Actually-
Australian strawberry? What? America's version of needles in Australian strawberry. Oh, I heard about that. Was that true, or is that like an urban legend thing? Where people were putting needles in strawberries.
That one I don't know anything about.
That was a while ago, yeah. I don't know if it was true or not.
No. Speaking of getting caught,
I didn't do it
that
and you can't
reminds
prove it.
me of. I saw an article. I don't remember if it was recently. I think it may have been a couple months ago, but the one guy who was attacking game service companies. I think they had attacked Sony PlayStation, which we all know they've been attacked a bunch of times.
You're talking
the
about DDoS
PS
attacks,
network.
right?
Yeah,
Or okay.
DDoS attacks. And they caught the one person who attacked or did one of the attacks, and they were linked with a few other attacks.
Mm-hmm.
And they got $90,000 fine with 27 months in prison, I believe.
Good.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Good. Fuck that. Oh, okay. There was talk on here about the new Nintendo Mini, but I haven't really looked into it. I mean, it's just gonna be. I know we're going back to tech or whatever, but still, I know it's gonna be a Nintendo with Joy-Cons permanently attached to it. I mean,
Depending on the size and everything, I don't think it's that bad.
how big? Yeah, I
But-
don't know how big it's gonna be.
And that's just it. Like, how big is it going to be? And how much screen real estate are you going to have and or lose? Is
Yeah,
going to be
how
some of the
mini is
biggest
the
thing.
Mini gonna be?
Yeah, because if you lose too much, well, then, okay, sure, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't have it too big where it's like, why the hell are we going to buy this? We'll just get a regular one without
See,
arms.
Yeah,
Well,
those
without
are,
Joy-Cons, it's going to be cheaper. So
it's yeah, without the Joy-Cons, that's true. But I'm just more curious about the size. That's what I want to know. Like, is it gonna be like how much bigger than a PSP is it gonna be?
Yeah.
Because
Or-
that's like the baseline for handhelds like that. So we have bigger screens, but 25% isn't hand. Oh god, the EA handheld, that'd be terrible. Yikes.
you have to buy your buttons separately.
Yeah, you have to buy the buttons
Right.
separately, and you have to pay for a subscription to sign on. That's it.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, so if we think of anything else tech wise, we'll go back to it. We have about 20 minutes left. So this one I did see. Amazon confirms it holds onto Alexa data even when you choose to delete the
Yes.
audio files. Now, I have an Alexa, so the only thing that oh fuck. Yeah, she heard me. The only thing that she'll ever hear me say is for me to turn my lights on and off. That's it. But there are a lot of other people that use their in-home device for a lot of other things, to buy things. And she'll know a lot about my weather too. I ask about the weather a lot, but like there's a lot of other people that ask a lot of other different things. So my question is this for you guys: how long do you think it's going to be until governments start getting involved, telling them that they have to, they have to do something about it, that they cannot keep information or something like that?
How long? Before the Alexa was made, and they're already involved.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
There-
it was a article that had come up a while back about Amazon with the Alexa devices, and they were hearing people's conversations and some really terrifying ones where they actually had specialists for people to go to talk to after hearing and going through voice recordings, because they were hearing, people talking about doing horrific things to other human beings. And unfortunately, they can't do anything about it. They can't go to the cops or any of that because it's protected information. So that's where, employees want to do stuff, but they can't. And so they have other people there that they can talk to get this type of stuff off of their shoulders, because
Mhm.
it's already a law that they can't, like, hey, we're calling the cops because we were listening to you, even though,
Yeah, that's a really big invasion of privacy.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So there are laws in place.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll. I don't know. It's. Anyways, ancient frozen stuff is thawing and it's alive. I don't even have to ask. I have a feeling Dozer put that in there though.
Yeah, most comments like that are me. I think that's pretty obvious. So the article's pretty simple. Um, essentially, like including from like 40,000 years ago to even a few hundred years ago, stuff that has been frozen and is now thawing due to climate change.
Mm-hmm.
Is some of it is still alive after either hundreds and or thousands of years being frozen. Which is
So are
pretty cool.
you saying that the end is near?
No, are you talking about global warming end is near, or are you talking about
Like
like
something's
the
gonna
shit's
get
still alive and coming for us?
something's gonna get released and it's gonna be like a virus and we're all gonna get killed.
Well, it's moss, so I think we're safe for now from the terrifying moss
That's what you think.
and the half-millimeter worms. I think we're okay.
That's what
But
you think. Killer moss.
man, moss kills you at the rate of eventually.
It'll be like exactly like The Last of Us. There you go. Turns into spores and gets in your brain, and the next thing you know, zombies. Boom.
That's not how moss works. So I think we're okay.
That's
We
not
are
how
Hey,
moss
okay.
works
how do you
now,
know
but
that it's
40,000
not
years ago, you don't
mutated?
know.
Yeah.
How do we know it's not?
Scientists
How do we know it's not mutated? How do we know it's not mutated? Because it's fucking moss.
Yeah, but you don't know that though. You don't know that.
See,
I
what if
think-
being frozen for so long, it comes into contact to this warmer weather, it just runs rampant where it's boxing us in our homes so we can't get out. It just goes nuts.
Okay,
Takes all the
okay.
oxygen away from us.
You understand that that is also not how moss works.
Yes,
you-
but it's just
you
funny
know-
just to see your face.
Because I can't tell if you guys are being serious or if you think that like moss can breathe. I don't.
But can it?
I think we're okay for now. I think, if you're really concerned about it, Bernie, why don't you go out and try to communicate with the moss and see what it wants?
See, I'm not sure that's the best idea either. Because
Oh my God.
you know some of my problems. What if I release and it like magnifies its growth?
Oh
astronomically?
man. That's just really funny. It's so dumb. It's so funny at the same time. Ah.
There's a fucking super volcano underneath Yellowstone. You guys are talking about killer moss.
Oh, but we already
Fucking
know about the
unbelievable.
super volcano. We already know about that. That's not a secret. But this
Neither
moss
is the
is
moss.
but the moss is 40,000 years old. You don't know what happened in
Right?
40,000 years.
It got frozen. That's
What if it secretly has crap inside of it? Where it starts growing freaking tentacles or something, wrapping
I
us
don't know.
up
You know what?
and
The moss can
cocooning
keep its
us.
secrets. The moss can keep
Oh.
its secrets, Bernie. It's fine.
Well, they would have been able to keep its secrets if it didn't get defrosted. Now it's out in the wild. And we're all fucked.
Well, I'm glad that we were able to talk before the moss uprising of 2020.
He regrets putting that in there so much. It's not even funny.
No, I don't regret it. It's cool and it's science and it's fantastic.
Oh.
And you two idiots are going on like it's a disaster movie. Now the real plant-based disaster is happening in Mississippi.
Yeah, what's
where
that?
every single one of their bitches, every single one of their beaches.
All
those
of
bitches are-
Mississippi's bitches are dying.
No, so the beaches, those bitches are toxic right now. Algae is in bloom and it's dangerous, and There's an actual dangerous plant in 2019, and you guys are still on the moss.
And they're gonna reproduce.
What's to say
They're gonna
moss
reproduce with the
is
moss.
not going to become the new algae.
Oh God.
Who's to say that?
Because that's not how they work.
That's not. Oh man. Oh God, that's really funny. Whew. That was really funny. And obviously, we were not serious, by the way. Like, yeah, I would hope that you would know that.
I think Bernie is serious. I think you're joking, Peter, and I think Bernie is gonna Google how to kill moss right now.
Bernie's gonna invest in weed killer
for when it encroaches on him. I'll be honest, I really wish we were back talking about the ice cream liquor because you guys took that way more seriously. That someone was out licking your ice cream than 40,000-year-old animals and plants.
Oh man, that was really funny. Oh God, that was funnier than I thought it was gonna be. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you at all. That was fucking hysterical. Whew. Okay. There were other things that I wanted to bring up. I just gotta remember them now. Shit.
The trees are coming for us. Run.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be an even shittier version of what was it called? What was the M. Night Shyamalan movie that was the Knowing? That even shittier version of that. Oh man.
Sadly, I could see this becoming a B-rated movie.
Probably.
Sort of like Sharknado. Like I could see it totally happening, unfortunately.
Yep, absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. There was something that I wanted to talk about, but I can't remember what it was now. It was mildly tech related. Fuck, I can't remember. Damn it. Praise our green overlords. Oh my God, Knowing is the Nicholas. Oh, Happening. There you go. Happening. Books, movies, fire. Well, Spider-Man came out. I haven't gotten to watch it yet. I hear it's fantastic. If we're talking about movies, I hear it's actually fantastic. A friend of mine watched it. He said it was the best live-action Spider-Man movie to date.
Okay.
Because that's a real big fight.
I mean, there are good ones. Like Homecoming was fantastic. Spider-Man 2 set the bar for good superhero movies. You know, Spider-Man 1 was really good. I'm going
to see it tomorrow.
Yeah. I definitely do want to see it. So has anyone played the new season of Apex yet?
No.
I haven't either. I need to actually play that because I hear that it's good. I hear that it's decent, not the best. Oh, this is what I wanted to talk about. This is gonna be interesting. So we all know that Disney is remaking all of their classic Disney films.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of hoopla going around where, especially recently, because they just announced who they're having to play the Little Mermaid. And I'm going to put it in the chat. Here we go. Her name is Halle Bailey. And I'm going to put it in the chat, and I want you guys to give me your reaction. Hold on. Yep. See, Damien knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't give a shit in any way.
So it's not Halle Berry. No, her name is Halle Bailey. So people are freaking out because she's a black girl. That's the thing. So that's who's going to be. Okay, why do you not like to do that?
People freaking out over that is stupid, in my opinion.
Okay, for some reason I can't send links in my own fucking chat. What?
That's super funny.
No, it's literally just not sending it. Right. Okay. Anyways, just put her name in chat. Whatever. That's her, Halle Bailey. So people are freaking out because she's black. Now, I don't think that people are freaking out because she's black. I think they're freaking out because of like what they're potentially doing to the character of the Little Mermaid. That's what. And the fact that Little Mermaid is a white girl with red hair. She's a ginger. Can we just talk about that real quick? How the Little Mermaid is a ginger and no one has a problem with that? Anyways. But yeah, I mean, I personally don't care. I don't care. My question for you guys is Disney going to do something about it?
No,
Nah.
they won't.
You don't think so?
They've already made up their mind. They knew that ahead of time.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know if they'll recast her. But considering the fact that considering the fact that it's a Little Mermaid and it has to be underwater, I'm thinking that they might do something and make it so that way she looks like the original Little Mermaid. I think they might pull a fast one on
fake
us.
red hair or whatever.
No,
Digital
like
red hair,
like basically CGI the Little Mermaid over her, like they do with like Planet of the Apes. Like she'll just do the mocap, right? And then they'll have the Little Mermaid over her. That's what I'm thinking.
Either way.
Yeah, Lion King also, yeah, anything like that.
Sure.
You know? I think that's what they might pull. A new age CGI, that's what I'm talking about. If they don't do it live action, then they might do something like that. So, I don't know.
I mean, I don't. It's a fish person. I really don't care. Like it's not. It's so unimportant.
Oh, I know you don't care, but there's a lot of people. Like Damien said it before. Everywhere on Facebook, it's fucking everywhere.
Well, the same thing happened when what's her face was in Ghost of the Shell. People are gonna complain about stuff just to complain about stuff. It's a sensitive time, and some people are overly sensitive about things.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and they thought that they were clever, like at the end of the movie, saying that she was Japanese the whole time. And it's just like, stop it! You literally threw that in there at the end. Stop it! But it still didn't help because it was a trash movie.
It was pretty awful.
Trash movie.
I mean, when it comes down to it, actors pretend. So if the actor is good at pretending, and that's the best choice for someone who's going to pretend to be a fish person, I don't care.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what they're going to do with it. Like I said, I think they're going to pull a fast one on us and just make her like the mocap. Just put mocap on her. Might as well watch The Shape of Water. I've never seen that. I heard it's good, though. So do you guys have anything else that you can think of?
Nope.
No.
Bernie?
No.
Nothing?
No.
Yeah, there's nothing else. Nothing else that I can really think of that we can talk about because there's no Marvel news yet. No Marvel news yet because, what do you call it? Because Comic-Con hasn't started yet, so that's at the end of the month. So when we come closer to the end of the month, we'll have a lot more, at least a lot more movie news to talk about. Oh, and they released the new teaser trailer for the new Mulan film. I don't think I've seen Dozer so uninterested in one thing ever as much as this.
I didn't watch a lot of Disney movies growing up. I don't watch them now. I think that they're good enough for kids and stuff, but they're pretty terrible and they all follow the exact same story. So,
well, that's why they're so successful.
Yeah, because children are stupid and they buy the same shit over and over.
Mm-hmm.
Right? How many times have they re-released the Disney movies? They re-released them so many damn times.
Well, here's the thing. They're what do you call it? They're specifically redoing all the Disney movies, all the classic Disney movies in live action.
Well, no, I know that. I just mean, like, in general, though, we've had re-releases of all of them, and now it does feel like this is a time and era
I don't
of
know about
where
all of them.
live
There's a bunch we haven't.
actions
There's a
are
bunch that we
becoming-
haven't seen yet.
No, but down the road is more than likely going to happen where things are going to become live action.
True. Very,
I
very
mean,
true.
it's already become a more popular thing, as we've seen
Mm-hmm.
in the past. The last couple of years, it's become more of a thing.
Yeah. What do you put in Schecter? What about Schecter?
A couple of their models have had some price cuts, and I want the second one that I liked.
I'll pull my dad in here to talk about guitars. It'll be going on for like 4.5 hours in that's the case.
Nice. I like that one actually a lot. I like the color scheme.
But yeah. Anyways, that's all we got. That's all we got for this week. So I want to thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for coming to the first official episode of the Nerd Dad podcast. And we will see you next week, same time, Monday at 9 p.m. ish. I'm gonna say ish from now on, 9 p.m. ish. So, if you guys are enjoying it, follow the stream. We also have a Twitter if you want to follow the Twitter, which will be, more. We'll be active. I'll give Dozer reign of the Twitter. For some reason, I can't put anything in the chat.
Refresh.
I don't know why. There you go. So that's the Twitter. You want to follow, give it a follow. Most likely the things that be coming from the Twitter might be from just Dozer. We'll see. We'll
A
see.
lot of dick pics. Like
No
so
dick
many.
pics. No dicks at all.
Tons of them.
No dicks.
Not mine.
Absolutely no dicks.
Just ones I find on the internet.
Jesus. But and also if you missed it, this will be up on the YouTube channel tomorrow. But yeah, so we're taking a little break. I'll come back with some video games and all that stuff. So I'm gonna show them the logo and then we'll talk about it. So anyways, I'm the Unexceptional Gamer. Bernie, Dozer.
I'm
say
Bernie
goodbye.
8001.
Easy dozer.
He is
Very
quick,
cute. I just
concise,
man,
and
you
to the
talk about fucking Disney movies. Way to just end a stream.
Hey, people like Disney movies, so I don't know what your problem is. You got to like them too.
Well, you wonder what? With it being the end of the show, I hope everybody stays safe from that damn moss that's gonna come and get us. You all be safe out there and be ready.
Yes, be careful and stay away from prehistoric moss.
Algae's fine though. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, yeah. You guys have a good night, and I'll see you in about 10 minutes. Yeah, roughly. See you later, guys.
All right, take it easy.